Hey guys, welcome to our December Tech Bite, the last of the year. Appreciate you guys hopping on as always, and I wanted to keep it light. It's it's between Christmas and New Year's, so it's going to be a light one today, but one that's well overdue. I want to talk a little bit about the threat cloud. Um, a lot of us might be familiar with the threat cloud. It's been something that Checkpoint's been talking about for a long time now. But if not, or you want to know a little bit more about it, this is your session. So um, up here, I just had while we were waiting, Checkpoint's live cyber threat map, and this map shows you all the attacks going on the Checkpoint's seeing right now live. And the only thing about it is because it would probably crash the map and crash the browser. Uh, it's limited to 7 attacks at any given second or half second or however fast it refreshes. So the number of attacks going on globally is substantially more than this, but we don't want to kill we don't want to kill the whatever this is. Okay. So oops, wrong one. Let's pop this open. So here's a quick presentation on the threat cloud. Um, so going back a long ways, and sorry, these slides are going to have a lot of animation in them. Going back a long ways, the back in the day, we had our headquarters, which probably housed our data center as well. And in those times, users would come to the office, they would sit down at their desk, they would log into their desktop computers that never left the office, and they would, do their thing, right? And back then we built perimeter around that, and it was pretty solid because nothing ever left physically, so we were able to just firewall everything inside, right? But that has obviously changed, and I think everybody knows that. But it's sometimes refreshing or whatever to see, this kind of mapped out where, we have a lot of branch offices now. We have a bunch of our stuff in SaaS applications like Office 365 and Salesforce and Dropbox and Slack and whatever other SaaS thing there. There's a million SaaS apps out there, and everybody's got one. We have potentially some of our infrastructure out there on AWS or Azure or Google Cloud platform. Um, we have remote users, right? And they're working from home. And now we got Zoom and Slack and Teams all going, more of these SaaS apps. We also got VPN access, maybe. And then we got some of our remote users are actually working on their phones. So now we got to talk about mobile devices, all these different things, right? And I think we don't have to belabor this any further, that we all know the perimeter has greatly expanded over the years and made it a little more complex. Um, so what is Checkpoint's approach to that, right? Yeah, we have firewalls and they'll take care of your network, and we have cloud protections like posture management and cloud firewalls and code scanning and stuff. And yeah, that'll protect some of your cloud infra. And yeah, we got the Harmony endpoint to protect your endpoints, and the mobile to protect your mobiles, and the email to protect your emails. But what we have with all that to bring it together to secure and give us the intelligence everywhere is the threat cloud. That is our global intelligence. And you see in this picture that it feeds and is fed by all these different tools, right? The Harmony stuff, the CloudGuard stuff, the firewall stuff, etc. Right? So what is threat cloud? Right? It's really two different sides of the brain, which is why they use this graphic. The first one is big data threat intelligence, right? So we pull in a gargantuan amount of threat intelligence that we actually get from all over the place. We get it from global governing entities. We get it from, believe it or not, some of our competitors in the cybersecurity space, because they as well as we work together to, build up some lists of indicators. And then on our side, for how we discover these things, A lot of AI technology, a lot of research and development. We have hundreds of people doing threat research at all times. But the AI technology is really taken off too, right? So we have machine learning, et cetera. We're going to see a little more about that in a minute. But the key thing is that it feeds, right? The global intelligence works with all of our different products, right? And here's the slide that's going to show us that. Uh, Essentially, what happens, right, is anywhere, whether it be a checkpoint gateway, a checkpoint mobile protection, an endpoint protection, an email protection, one of the cloud protections, it doesn't matter. Anywhere that we see a brand new file that we've never seen before, that device sends a hash up to the threat cloud and says to the threat cloud, has checkpoint anywhere in the world seen this file before? Um, and assuming that we have, it gets the verdict right there and then, right? We don't have to wait for AV updates or IPS signatures or an update to our mobile that is built into the policy or whatever. By checking the threat cloud, we get up to the second, and you see this is less than 2 seconds, up to the second knowledge and up to the second protection on brand new 0-day threats, malware variants. This is really one of the secret sauces, right, of how we do so well when you look at how Checkpoint stood up to, whatever test by a third party. This is really one of the major reasons we do so well. So where do we get all this, right? Checkpoint's customers and products. We have 150,000 firewalls connected out there at all times, if not more. We have millions of endpoint devices out there. And these machines and these agents and these cloud you know widgets, they are inspecting 2 billion websites and files daily. So we get a lot of data. Dozens of external feeds, right, that we work with. We kind of mentioned it before. It includes, governing bodies, includes our own competitors to some of them. And then we got our own unique machine learning algorithms, right, which detect 650,000 suspicious domains daily, right? So our little artificial intelligence Skynet stuff is out there checking on things and eventually will kill us all. And you see that cyber threat map that we were looking at a minute ago. So this slide, I didn't want to get too deep into this one, but here's some of the examples of the AI-based technology, right? So we got infected host detections, we got the sandbox analysis, right? The threat emulation that feeds us a lot of that. That's where we catch the most of the 0 days and stuff like that. We have zero phishing detections that are picking it up. I don't want to read through every single one of these, but you see we got a variety of manual and a whole lot of AI and machine learning type things, right? That allows us to build this database quickly, extremely quickly, right? So in this example we see here, right, here's an email, comes from accounts at Microsoft, and apparently this person, they're been blocked from access, but if they click here, everything will be sweet. But as we all know, this is probably a phishing email, and you see that the threat cloud has all these different engines built in, and it's picking up on brand impersonation, right? Microsoft, which is a big red flag for the AI. It's also looking at the language, right? Some of the things that are urgent or maybe phrased poorly. It's looking, of course, at the URL itself, and that's how we, in this example, the threat cloud has been able to protect this person's email, right? Now, because the threat cloud is a global intelligence and it's gathering data from everywhere, every customer, all over the place, and it's using all these engines to learn about a file and build a profile about a file or even a fileless malware, we have up to the second protection, which includes vulnerabilities and exploits, right? So what's cool about this is that we are able to block exploits sometimes before the vulnerability is even known, and certainly after, right? So anytime we find, some of these vulnerabilities, it takes a while for companies to patch, right? It takes a while for them to you know improve their product, and then it takes a while again for the users to actually update the app if they ever do. So we're able to protect that, right, with our features, and it gives you up to the second IPS, which includes fileless exploits. And that's kind of what it's showing you here, right? Is that here's a exe file. It was seen by a firewall. It went to the threat cloud. We did all these different things, and we came up with the verdict. And it says less than 5 minutes. It's way less than that. All machines in the world are able to reference that in the threat cloud and be able to not have to be vulnerable to whatever attack it is. Another thing that is important, and you saw there was patented things on previous slides. We we say machine learning because people know that phrase, and we do that. We do machine learning the way everybody else does, right? Which is like this track up here, right? But then on top of that, we have what we call deep learning, right? We actually look at a file byte by byte. We actually even look at them based on the instructions that are sent to the processor, right? And that's kind of what this is showing you here, right? Is all these different parameters and how they interact with one another in this wild spiderweb looking thing. We are able to look so intensely at a file or at whatever, a launching of a script, whatever. We are able to look at it so tightly and down to its basic bytes and the instructions it sends to the processor. And that's how we get to know things are malicious, things are trying to evade a sandbox, right? There sometimes the more advanced malware out there will say, don't, check out this machine. Is it a brand new machine? Is it small hard drive? There's not many files on it. Does it have a short uptime? And it'll say, oh, this must be a sandbox. Don't deploy the bad stuff yet. Try to trick companies, right? This is how we catch this. We catch all that based on the instructions. As you see, it blocks 30% more attacks. Here's a couple examples. We actually found these malwares 12, the TrickBot, the Zloader, and Hansator, 12, 15, and 17 days before VirusTotal said they were viruses, right? And so our users behind our firewalls, with our endpoint, behind our email gateways, all our cloud technologies, they were protected from TrickBot 12 days before we even knew TrickBot existed, right? So to summarize, prevention first. We block attacks faster than anyone else because we have this global intelligence and it's referenced by all our technologies. Whoop. Gives us the best catch rate of known and unknown threats. And we have near zero false positives because we have so many engines running and making a determination. So I know I whizzed right through that like super quick. I wanted to get to the demo portion, which is going to be short. Are there any questions? And I'll pause and look in the chat. There is a question. And it's the perfect setup question. The question is Joe, how do we use the threat cloud? How do we leverage this? And that is perfect because that's exactly where I was going next. So I can't show you every single checkpoint technology where to turn this on and off, because I just don't have the time here, right? But I'll show you the firewalls and the endpoint, because I think that's a large portion of our footprint out there. By default, in every one of our products, the threat cloud is turned on. Okay, so technically speaking, if you just did the regular default stuff, you already are using the threat cloud. You do have to turn on some of the blades to be able to make the prevention, right? Like for example, you need the anti-malware blade for the ThreatCloud to block a malware that it finds out in ThreatCloud. But if it was a detect, it would detect it and then of course let it through. But yeah, so with the firewalls, you may have noticed if you install the firewall, um, within the wizard, the first time setup wizard, it actually asks you, do you want to share information with Checkpoint? And it's checked, the box is checked by default. That is how we get the threat cloud, right? In order for you to participate, you have to send us some data. And it's not, we're not looking at, your grandma's credit card number or, your personal address or your social security number. We're not looking at that kind of stuff. We're looking at the metadata, right? We're learning about, the actual behavior of the file, right? That you're looking at. We're not here to gather PII on all our customers and spy on them. But to participate in the threat cloud, it's built right in by default. It's checked. You can also see it in global properties. This environment that I have here, I don't have the level of access to show you where it is, but it is in global properties. It's under security management access, which is the thing I don't have over here on the left. You can also do it by blade, right? So let's pick this one. It's got a lot of blades running. So if for some reason you wanted to leverage the threat cloud with, let's say, IPS, but not with the firewall, with the antivirus, you can click this one, Checkpoint Threat Cloud. Help improve Checkpoint's threat prevention by sending anonymous information about feature usage, infection details, and product customizations. And you click Learn More, it'll pop up. It'll tell you more about the Threat Cloud. But this box is checked. Your IPS is running with Threat Cloud. And same thing here with the anti-bot and antivirus, right? And for some reason, this one's loading up funny in this view. I'm not sure what's going on there, but again, Checkpoint Threat Cloud. You got this box checked, you're good to go. And you could actually even customize it a little bit to anonymize what is collected, right? So that's it on the firewalls. If it's on, if you didn't turn it off, it's on. And if you did turn it off, you could turn it back on in global properties, or you can go into IPS, into anti-bot, antivirus, turn them on piece by piece, right? Here is that threat view again, which is just a cool map to look at. And, it's got like the winter Christmas theme right now, which is cool. Where am I here? Get rid of this meeting controls. Okay. See if this is still live. Still live. Perfect. So here in Harmony Endpoint, again, all your endpoint clients, if they see something new, they're going to check the threat cloud and see if Checkpoint has seen it anywhere. And in the advanced settings, in the in the policy, right? In the advanced settings, if you go to File Protections General, Threat Cloud Knowledge Sharing. And this is grayed out because I have a non-admin account on this particular tenant, but it won't be grayed out on yours. That's it. It's checked by default, allows sending infection info statistics to Checkpoint. If you have this box clicked, you are participating in the threat cloud and you are both improving it all the time, and more importantly, you are benefiting from it all the time. So that's that's two of them. I mean, I could show you more, but I do know we're coming up on time and etc. I'll throw the cyber map back up there because it's fun to look at. Do we have any additional questions? Okay, I see one in the chat. The question is, is this like an additional expense, right? No, as long as you have a current subscription to whatever Checkpoint technology is in question, as long as you are up to date on your subscription with it, you are connected to the threat cloud, you are benefiting from it. I got another one that says, Do I have to turn on the protection? Yes. So the question is, do I have to have the protection on to benefit from that part of the threat cloud? So, for example, if I don't have IPS turned on the firewall, what will happen, right? So, if you don't have IPS turned on the firewall, you don't you won't it won't pick up on an IPS type event, right? It won't pick up on an intrusion attempt, right? In the first place, you have to have it turned on. Now, if it's in detect mode, we're going to see it, we're going to log it, we're going to make an event of it. But as with all things, whether it's caught by the signature database, the threat cloud, the emulation, or whatever thing, it's in detect mode. It's just going to detect it, make some notes about it, and let it through, right? You need to be in prevent mode for it to be prevented, right? And the same thing with like the anti-malware. The anti-malware, uh, if you have the blade on but turned on to detect mode, it will log it and then let it through. If it's in prevent, it will obviously prevent all new malware variants, all 0-day malware, etc. So it's a beautiful thing. Good questions, guys. Any other questions? Okay. So last question I got is actually a thanks and appreciate it. I appreciate you guys hopping on. I really do appreciate everybody joining these sessions, giving their time. I know everybody's so busy. I'm busy too. It's crazy, and I really appreciate that I get such attendance, I get such um, participation in these sessions, and that I get so much feedback and stuff. And of course, anytime you have any feedback, you have any ideas for a future TechByte session, you have any questions about something we covered, feel free, reach out, email me, please. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to dig into something with you. So with that said, thank you very much for attending our December TechByte here. I hope you had a happy holidays, and I hope you have a happy new year, and I'll see you in 2024. Thank you very much.